The public hearing relates to an application from Factory Town Apartments LLC for the construction of approximately 13 buildings to contain approximately 139 apartment units on Cannon Street. And the application is requesting sales and use tax exemption benefits in the amount of $1,372,370, mortgage recording tax exemption benefits for $290,560, and real property tax exemption benefits of approximately $6,843,258. And I'll turn it over to the applicant and their counsel to give a little more of a detail of the project.
Absolutely. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jim Carminucci. I'm with the law firm of Lenry Greisler, here on behalf of Factory Town Apartments LLC, which is the applicant. I have Christian Luisi here on behalf of the applicant. As Melissa indicated, the proposal is for a 139-unit multifamily residential apartment facility with amenities, including a clubhouse and a gym, to be built on an approximately 33-acre site located on Cannon Street in the north end of the village. The application is a result of a development request for proposals issued by the agency in March of 2021, which my client responded to. Our approximate project costs for this project are $36 million, and as Melissa indicated, we are seeking exemptions from mortgage recording tax, state and local sales tax, and real property taxes. And we're anticipating a 2-year build out before completion. Current assessed value of the property is $630,000. We're estimating upon completion the assessed value will be approximately $17.5 million, which represents an increase of approximately $17 million over how the property is currently assessed.
Thank you. And just a reminder for the public that today's public hearing is based is for the finance purposes. The project has already been approved by the Village of Green Island and the Green Island Planning Board. So the first speaker I have here is Jeff Bates.
Betts.
Sorry. Betts, sorry.
To address myself to the board.
Sure.
So I'm in this sitting, sorry. My name is Jeff Betts. I may gonna introduce myself and go into some points. There's 2 main areas that I have a concern with. But first, I've been a resident of Green Island only since October, but I have been working in Green Island at Ecovative since 2010. And then after that, I was at Case Window and Door, and now I'm on Starbuck Island, where I started a company with friends in 2020. So I can't escape you guys. I liked it so much I decided to stay. I just want to also add, just for some clarity, my background professionally is also something that brought me to join the Troy IDA, and I'm the chairman of the Troy IDA, CRC, and LDC. I'm not here on any behalf of that organization. I'm speaking as a citizen. And I am also just going to add, I think this project and what Luisi does in like brownfield sites, I don't know if this is a brownfield, but in, let's say, old industrial sites is commendable. And I think that what they have done on Starbuck Island and in other areas like on 25 Tibbetts is great. We need housing. I'm not at issue with anything that went in front of planning for this project, but I wanted to bring something to the board's attention that I do have an issue with this company. In particular, I'm in one of the Cannon Street houses, and at first I was like, well, I have a bone to pick, so I may as well put it out publicly because my neighbors have said that they're not responding to them. They did not build to what I consider code as a building science expert because they forgot flashing in key areas, and there is literally rotted siding and framing in the front windows of each one of those houses. There are 12 duplexes, so 6 buildings. And neighbors have said that Alex in particular and Peter DeFiglio have been unresponsive to them. They've tried to even send lawyers after them, so I understand not responding. But if that's the quality of the work that is going on in private homes, no wonder that this development switched from private homes to apartments. Not just because of funding, but because who wants to deal with homeowners? I deal with homeowners, I understand that. But you guys need this information in front of you, and the neighbors don't know they have this power. As someone who is in the public, knowing the effect that this has, I think it's something you guys need to take into consideration, maybe pause. I don't think the project should stop, but I think you need to take pause and understand that if this is how they're treating 12 tax-paying citizens, that's pretty bad. And I don't know the full history, I just moved in, but it's pretty bad to move in and have to deal with rot on a 4-year-old house. The second thing is, this caused me to do some digging, and it made me a little concerned because I noticed an ABR article from May 1st where I found out for the first time that the CEO of the IDA and the president of Louisi are brother and sister, and while I don't think that that's enough to stop the project, I think you need to reconsider for negotiation tactics. It'd be bad practice to even have the CEO in the room, because citing something from an opinion piece from the Office of the Comptroller from 2004, now granted these things change, this is a husband and wife scenario, so it's very different, but I just want you to take into consideration this. This is a quote from this opinion piece from opinion 2004-2. Even if the board member does not have an interest in the contract between the town and the vendor, the town's code of ethics should be reviewed to ascertain whether it contains any pertinent provisions. If the contract between the vendor and the town is permissible, if it's permissible, so if all things are good, which it is, I'm not claiming anything, if it's good, in my opinion it is, under Article 18 and the code of ethics is silent, the board member should recuse himself or herself from discussions and abstain from voting on matters related to any current or future town contracts with the vendor. There should be no involvement with a family member like this at this level. Shouldn't be in the same room, and they should have to recuse themselves from every bit of the process. That is my personal opinion, and that should go in front of further agencies for observation. This is now the third project, but this is the first one since Ms. Alexi has been the CEO of this position and holding a position as the inspector when I don't know how long that has been, but since we're seeing issues with just general step flashing and kick-out flashing, which is part of the building code, it's concerning. So should this project be stopped? No, this project should go forward and they should build this. We need this housing. Should the IDA be able to renegotiate this pilot with no interference whatsoever? That might be a questionable ethical concern. I believe so. So I came here as an angry little citizen thinking, oh, my window's leaking, hear me whine, because what else are you supposed to do but scream into the void? But then I started looking at this and I'm like, I'm sorry, but this is just, the city has a healthy relationship, this village has a healthy relationship with Louisi, and I don't think that it should continue without separation from that. And I just don't think that there should be any crossover if there's a relationship like this, personally, as a citizen. And I can't do anything about it, but you 3 voting members can. And you can put that back to the state AVOBA office or the comptroller. I don't think it needs to go to that. I think it just needs to be renegotiate the pilot with someone, and if you have to hire someone to come back in, if council needs to find someone, then that's fine. But there should not be no negotiation process with someone that's in that has that relationship. There's no official opinion on that. This is my own opinion, but it's questionable.
Thank you. Chris Avery?
How are you? I live on Main Street, and I've lived here all of my life. I am 5th generation Green Island, and my daughter is 6th. I've witnessed Green Island deteriorate. I know this because my mother used to live in Troy on a street where doctors and lawyers once lived. We ended up having to sell her home because they were dealing drugs in front of her house. I've since had drug dealers in front of my house. I have had drug users sit on my porch. 2 months ago, I had a young woman get thrown off the roof of a vehicle and left unconscious with a pool of blood in the middle of the street. Of course, my concern is additional people. Of course, my concern is additional housing. And I understand we need housing, but we need to make sure that our community keeps up with that additional people, and we're all safe. I would like to propose that we take the Green Island Park and we make a permanent fence on the opposite side. If you live on Payne Street, you know that you've had to drive around cops on a somewhat consistent basis. We're in between the entrance of the park and the corner store. And there is nothing and no words. George Street people could argue with me, but I truly believe that we are one of the blocks that have the most issues because of those 2 locations. There's already a parking lot on the opposite side, Tibbetts Ave, which has a parking lot for the park. So it would be actually safer for our residents to go in and out of that park and to use that parking lot. As of right now, where we are, it's even more dangerous for the kids. And the kids know they're not allowed to fight in that park, so they wait till they get on the outside of the gate, which puts them in the middle of the road. As far as I would like to see at least our community keep up with the additional housing that it's about to absorb. That's it, thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other speakers? Any other speakers?
I just have a question. Do you know what the amount of tax revenue we're gonna get from the building of Factory Town?
Sure, so the pilot schedule is included in the documents that have been posted on the website. We may have some extra hard copies. I can provide you with a hard copy after. Any other speakers? Okay, I'd like to close the public hearing. Over to you, Rachel.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to open up our IDA monthly meeting. Roll call, please, Michelle.
Chairperson Perfetti.
Present.
Secretary Ryan.
Present.
Treasurer McGivern.
Present.
Attorney Jeffers.
Present.
IDA CEO Alex.
Present.
IDA CFO Ferrandino.
Present.
Thank you, Michelle. Next on our agenda is consideration of the minutes from our IDA special meeting, which was held last month, April 20th, 2025. Everyone has a copy. We all look them over. There's no addition or deletions. Could I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you, Mark. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, and that's carried. Next is consideration of the monthly financial reports for March and April 2025, as submitted by our Chief Financial Officer. Everyone has copies. Look them over. There's no questions. Could I have a motion, please?
I make a motion.
Thank you, Mark.
A second.
Thank you. And all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, and that's carried. Next is our audit of claims from March 18th, 2025 to present. Everyone has a copy. Look them over. Anthony's here if there's any questions.
I have no questions. I'll make a motion to approve.
Thank
Second.
you. Thanks, Lynn. Thank you, Mark. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
Opposed, and it's carried. Let's see, next is consideration of ratifying our agreement with Stores Associates for cost benefit analysis for the Factory Town Apartments LLC project. And Maggie, will you give us a little bit of information
Yeah, so we
on that?
entered into an agreement with Stores Associates to do a third-party cost benefit analysis on this project, very similar to what we've done with our other projects that have come before the IDA for financing. The total cost was $2,500, and that report has been prepared and was ready for today's meeting.
Okay, and I need a motion on that, please.
Motion to accept.
Thank you, Mark.
I second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, and that's carried. Next is a brief overview of the cost benefit analysis report pertaining to the Factory Town development. Maggie will contact.
Sure, so everyone has a copy of the cost benefit analysis. Just a couple highlights that I'd like to bring to your attention without going through the entire report in its entirety. Unfortunately, Victoria Stores could not be here to present herself, so I'm just going to highlight a couple factors. The Stores Associates prepared this financial assistance and impact analysis. They reviewed all of the application materials and provided an objective third-party report, which you all have. I'm going to direct your attention to page 1, which is the executive summary. And I just want to point out the benefit to cost ratio. And Stores Associates recommends confirming that benefits exceed a cost. The benefits exceed the cost, showing a ratio greater than $1 to $1, basically 1 to 1. So you'll see on the top right page of page 1, in the corner there, that the benefit to cost ratio for this project will be the taxing jurisdictions. The community will get $1.57 for every dollar spent, and overall the estimate is $3,795,158. The cost benefit to the school district, the benefit we are seeking with this project is $1.72 to $1, which is an overall benefit to the school district and the village of $398,521. So anytime a new fiscal benefit shows that the revenue, all the new revenue it is a meaningful project for the community. The property was wholly exempt up until this past January when the property was sold to the independent private industry. So up until January, we were receiving 0 tax dollars. As a vacant parcel, we are estimated that the tax revenue would be $490,000. However, with the project and the pilot, there's an estimated net gain of $3,285,057 in real property tax revenue compared to whether if there was no project at all. If you go through the remainder of the report, you'll see the creation of jobs, the increase in sales tax to Albany County, which then gets filtered to the village of Green Island. So all of the benefits are outlaid in this report. If you have any specific questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
No. Thanks, Maggie.
You're welcome.
Very good. Okay, no questions. All right. Next on my agenda is consideration, no.
Number 8, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Consideration of adopting the C-Corp resolution for Factory Town Apartments LLC. We all have a copy. Maggie just gave us some verbal information on it. Could I have a motion, please, to
Yeah.
adopt? Oh,
The
I'm
secret.
sorry.
Yeah,
Go
if
ahead.
you'd like, if the board members would like, I could just walk you through. I know you had a chance to see the resolution, but just to walk you through, as you'll recall, before the board can take any official action, it needs to do a seeker review under the state Environmental Quality Review Act. And so, as you'll recall, the village of Green Island Board of Trustees undertook a coordinated review of the project when it was doing its own review, and so the IDA was an involved agency for that review process. And so, being an involved agency, the IDA is bound by the determination of the village board. And so this resolution will document that fact and the fact that the project constitutes a type 1 action under seeker, and that you're affirming that the village had adopted the negative declaration with respect to environmental impacts.
Okay, thanks, Melissa. Okay, everyone.
I'll
I
make
need
a
a
motion.
motion. Go ahead, Lynn.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Thank you, Mark. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next is consideration of adopting a resolution approving the Factory Town Apartments LLC application for financial assistance. We all have a copy. The public hearing was held. And Melissa, if you want to comment on that also.
Thank you, Chair. So before the board is the proposed adoption of a final approving resolution for the Factory Town Apartments LLC project. The resolution contains the description of the project and notes compliance with the various requirements under general municipal law, that the public hearing notice was provided to the taxing jurisdictions and was published in the record, that the pilot deviation letter also went to the taxing jurisdictions, and the taxing jurisdictions were given an opportunity to provide any comments to the board. The resolution will authorize entry into standard IDA street lease transaction documents. And so the resolution itself outlines the deviation factors from your UTEP, would determine that this was a commercial project under the Act, and will preserve or create permanent private sector jobs and advance job opportunities, health, general prosperity, and economic welfare for the inhabitants of the village, and to prevent economic deterioration. And the resolution will authorize the various documents as well as interim sales tax benefits, which essentially will mean that the sales and use tax exemption will start after adoption of the resolution and before we move to the street lease closing. Again, for the record for the meeting, the resolution authorizes sales and use tax exemption benefits in the amount of $1,372,370. mortgage recording tax exemption benefits of $290,560, $290,560, and then approximate, real property tax exemption benefits of $6,843,258.
Thank you, Melissa.
Are there any questions?
No, we're kind of, okay. So I need a motion on that, please.
Motion to accept the resolution.
A second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, and that's carried. Thank you. Is there any other business to be brought before the board? Okay. Our next meeting will be June 18th, same at 3 o'clock. We have an agenda. Can I have a motion for adjournment, please?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you, Mark. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, and that's carried. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.